blocking your appetite is the number one source for your fat loss and adherence to that diet, right? That lifestyle, the new lifestyle. Number one is the most powerful. Number two, why is everyone stringy, soft, and ugly looking when they cut? Is because their bench press goes down and they get weaker.
I say this all the time. For some reason, people expect their strength to go down when they're cutting, and they almost speed up this process by thinking that they need to stop training heavy, when in reality, you need to focus on continuing to maintain and build strength even while you're cutting. If you're losing strength, probably means you're cutting too fast. And you need to find that sweet spot of where you're making steady progress in the mirror with your fat loss journey. At the same time, you're still able to maintain and build strength. Every single one of my clients has been able to get stronger, undeniably stronger in all of their major lifts, even if they're cutting. I have clients who've lost 30 pounds and they're stronger than they've ever been on their major lifts. So you need to get the idea out of your head that losing strength is supposed to happen when you cut, and you need to take a more sustainable approach. Perfect timing.
When you're cooking your appetite, if I told Chad, why don't you have three steak dinners in one sitting? That would take you the whole evening to eat that steak, right? If I said, let's go 100 grams of protein in steak, eat that in front of me, it's going to take you a while. But if I said, have 300, 400 grams of carbs, cereal, you'll finish it in 5 minutes and probably still be hungry, right? Once you understand how different these macronutrients are, you start to stay away from sugars. You say, oh my God, John is right. I could eat a bowl of cereal this big in 5 minutes, but the steak takes so much effort because they're different. You have to see it like that. Another thing, for rule number 2, when you are cutting your bench press, squat, dead, pull-ups, they cannot go down. When you know how people say, I'm toning my muscles? Toning doesn't exist, right? This is what you're doing with fat loss, okay? Think of Epstein Island. I wish I had the Epstein Island knowledge back then. Okay, look at this. This is what's happening when you are cutting. Scientifically, what's happening. Not bro science, retard YouTube channels. Okay. Let's say muscle. And let's just make it into a panel, like a box. All right? And fat. Let's say this is fat. Fat. So this is the island, okay? We'll do a tree like this. Whoop. That's Epstein Island. Boom, right here. Okay, now look. I've done this before, but people are not getting it. Okay, look at your muscle. That could be an ab. That could be a bicep. That could be a tricep. That could be any muscle in your body. Your muscle is covered by the water, right? We'll call it fat, right? The more you drop the sea level, the body fat level, the more defined and toned you will appear.
Yeah, and that's why people always say you look bigger when you've actually lost weight. Sometimes if I cut, I'll cut maybe 5-10 pounds and everyone will say I look bigger, when in reality I've lost weight and I'm just leaner, and the muscle that I have is just popping more because I've burned the fat around it. So it's kind of a paradox there. It's ironic how it works. Right? To put it in perspective, somebody at 160 pounds with 5% body fat will look bigger than someone at 180 pounds with 20% body fat.
But that island will not look right if it's weak. That island needs to be just as strong as when you were eating maintenance calories at least. So if I'm benching 200 pounds and now I'm benching 150, but I lost 20 pounds of weight, I didn't lose 20 pounds of fat. No way. I lost 20 pounds of muscle, fat, a bunch of shit. So,
and this is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make in their fat loss journey is they go too extreme because they want to see the quick results. And yeah, you're going to see the quick results, but you're going to lose a lot of muscle and not as much fat as you think or as you hope. The goal here is to minimize any muscle lost and maybe even build muscle in some cases, which is entirely possible, and maximize the amount of fat that you burn. Losing weight doesn't mean just losing weight. There's a difference between losing weight and actually burning fat or losing muscle, which you don't want.
what gets those deep cuts in your muscle is the muscle maintaining its strength, right? It's maintaining that load and trauma it used to maintain at a smaller frame, right? You're a smaller person now. That is literally contradicting physiology. If you are getting smaller, you have to be getting weaker. The fastest way to make your bench press 50 pounds plus, right? If you want to add 50 pounds to your bench, gain 10 pounds, gain 20 pounds, right? It's really simple, right? You don't even have to fucking train that much. Just put on the weight and your bench goes up, right? So rule number 2, you have to be athletic strong during your cut. That's why you cannot be suffering during your cut. If you're suffering, you're going to get hurt or you're just going to get weak.
I really don't switch up my training at all whenever I'm cutting or bulking, even though I don't do specific phases of cutting and bulking anymore. I wouldn't switch up my training. I would train pretty much the exact same. Some days when I'm cutting, if I have a little bit less energy, which is possible some days, then I might decrease the overall volume, the number of exercises I'm doing, the number of sets, especially on isolation exercises. But I would make sure to prioritize the compound movement and the strength portion of that workout, and then maybe cut out some curls or isolation workouts at the end.
Rule number 3. Rule number 3. That was a double kill.
Double kill.
Rule number 3. Adherence to what works. So, if you can do Zherka's protein shake every single day for a year, but there's a better protein brand out there that you don't like the taste that much, you will get more shredded with my dog shit protein than with the good brand.
This is super important. Finding what works for you, finding the balance of what works and what you can enjoy is the secret to building a plan, a routine that's sustainable. If you're doing something but you despise every second of it, it's going to be really easy for you to quit. And the chances of you sticking to it really long term are minuscule. This journey is a lifestyle change as well as a transformation that you're going for. And so in order to really get the most out of it and keep it going, which is ideally your goal, I know it's my goal, is to find a way to enjoy it. So even if you can be 5 or 10% better with a different routine, but you don't enjoy it as much, stick to what you're doing, because it's going to take you further in the long run. And ultimately, you will end up making better progress, better results because you stick to it longer, as opposed to sacrificing your long-term commitment for a plan, a routine, whatever that's 5 to 10% better right now. Always think bigger picture. There we go. I haven't seen this video before this, by the way.
Things that you like, taste
There you
good, make it easier for you, you'll adhere to longer. Do you understand? If you enjoy the taste of Red Bull, I like Girl in Mine, use code Jon, get 10% off. But if you like...
I actually didn't know that Jon was ever sponsored by Gorilla Mind, but it turns out he was allegedly pretty big on Twitch a couple years ago. Now, his tips are really good. I think they're actually great tips, great advice for the gym. As outrageous as this guy is and has been lately, especially, and despite the fact that he's a big dude, but he doesn't look like he really works out like that anymore, he still knows his stuff. And so I've been enjoying doing these reactions and finding myself agreeing with John on a lot of these points here.
The taste of Red Bull. That's better than black coffee because you can do it almost every day. And black coffee, you have to, I don't want to go to the gym and taste it or whatever. I like black coffee too. But basically, adhering to your game plan is the number one thing people fail at. Why? Because willpower, psychologically, right? Don't ever listen to Destiny when it comes to fitness. Willpower, psychological willpower is finite. It's not infinite. No amount of Andrew Tate or inspirational videos will make your willpower infinite. Your willpower is finite. If your girl divorces you, that lift won't happen, or it'll be a weak lift. Willpower is finite. That's why you have to select things in your day around the workout to make the ritual of that workout perfect. The workout has to come with a bit of anxiety and a smile on your face, right? And a game plan, like you writing down.
I'm curious about this. Do y'all have any type of ritual or routine before your workout? Do you set your day up in a way that leads to the best workout possible? I'm curious. I know I used to have somewhat of a routine, nothing crazy. I would just take my pre-workout and go. Nowadays, it just feels like I just get up and go to the gym whenever I have the opportunity, whatever time that is. I'm usually working before and after, so I'll be working and then I just put the computer down, get dressed, and go to the gym. I don't really have anything particular, but I guess that on its own might be considered a routine. But I know some people go like really above and beyond for it, so let me know in the comments if any of y'all have a pre-workout ritual you abide by.
You're progressing. Number 4. Now you're dieting a long term and continuously satiated, always stopping your appetite from choosing the wrong foods. Wrong macronutrient ratios. Don't worry about wrong foods, right? Now, number 4, why my clients would get leaner than others but would take a little longer is because I'd incorporate diet breaks. What is a diet break? Is it a refeed? No. A diet break is ramping up your calories to maintenance and trying to get stronger, not maintaining strength. You have more calories. I expect more from you. Every single client, I expect your bench to go up, right? I expect another rip on your 5x5. I expect this. I expect the load to go up, but I don't want you that stressed. The diet break is literally bridging that psychological trauma. It's healing you, right? So if you lost a lot of weight in 4 weeks, that 2-week maintenance break will get you shredded when you go back into a digging phase. But if you lost a lot of weight in 4 weeks and you keep grinding, you might say fuck it and eat McDonald's for another 8 weeks, right? Because it's a trauma. You're doing something your body don't want to do, right? So I think these are the biggest things about cutting.
That's interesting how he incorporates diet breaks. I've never done it for a week or 2 weeks. The most I've done on a diet break is maybe just a refeed day or a cheat day, but it's an interesting point he brings up. It most definitely would work, but like he said, it would take a little bit longer to get to the final result. But hey, if it allows you to keep going and stick with it for the long run, then I'd say it's worth it.
Why I don't talk about bulking is once you have these basics down, they're the exact same for bulking. Literally the exact same. Adhering to the diet, continuously finding foods that keep you hungry instead of full, right? You just flip it on its head. It's once you understand cutting, boom, you just flip it, right? So if I'm bulking and I really want to put on size, I'm not going to do a protein shake before every meal because I won't be able to finish my meals.
But you will eat absolutely as much as you can. You make sure you finish your food, and then you have a protein shake after. Big hack.